Hi, my name is Andrew and I'm the project coordinator for the Marsh Restoration Project.
Hi, I'm Emma. I'm a resource conservation technician working on the project, and I'll also be driving some of the machinery out in the marsh.
So we're here at Point Pelee National Park's marsh and we're about to head out and start our restoration for the day. The goal of the project is to create new open and edgewater habitat out here in the marsh and remove invasive species. So if we're all set, let's hit the water. Point Pelee National Park's marsh is an extremely important habitat because it's one of only a few left in the Great Lakes region, one of the largest left in southwestern Ontario. It's an important stopover for migratory birds. It's home to no less than 19 species at risk, and it's a wetland of international significance. Invasive species pose a problem on Point Pelee National Park's marsh because they form a dense monoculture, like the one you can see behind me, where nothing else can grow, no animals can move through. So you can imagine as a turtle moving to your nesting grounds, it can be very difficult to move from one spot to another. Very few other plants are able to grow in that stand.
Now that we're out in the management area on the cattail mat, the next step is to launch our canoe and our kayak and send a team out to do some scouting of the area that we're planning on working in before the machinery starts. So they'll be looking for any plant or animal or snail species out there, and they'll be scouting a route for the machines to go.
So while we were doing our surveys this morning, we found this water snake in the management area that needed to be relocated. So we've captured it and we're going to set it free outside of our area that we're working.
So we're out here at Point Pelee's marsh, standing on the cattail mats, and the process here is to create new open water habitat by carving into them using the machine back there called the Swamp Devil. It's a large vegetation cutter and it's meant to carve its way into the cattail mats and open up that water. And then we have Emma over here on the weed harvester, and she's collecting any debris that's left behind. And what she does with that is backs it up over to the mats and leaves them in piles that we can check.
After all the cattail mats have been collected, they are piled into piles, and we're going to go through and we're going to take pictures of the piles. We're going to take a GPS point of the pile. We're going to measure the piles. We're going to take the height, the length, and the width, and then we're going to go through the pile and check and make sure that there is no wildlife that needs to be relocated.
All right, so Maddie and I have two jobs. There's data collection in the canoe, which was me today, and pile checking, which is Maddie. And from the looks of us, you can obviously see there's a bit of a difference in cleanliness.
Okay, so we've just finished a day out in the field. We're back at the dock, packing everything up. We're gonna do a little debrief and then head back to the visitor center. We had a really good day out there, cut a good amount of cattail mat, had some quality time with the machines, and now we're heading back for some good showers.
We're back at the Marsh Boardwalk, and I'm joined by Carrie Ann, who's the Culture and Language Coordinator for Caldwell First Nation. Today, Carrie Ann's going to talk to us about ceremony and the significance of Point Pelee's marsh.
Bonjour, miigwech for inviting me to the Marsh Boardwalk. If you look at a map, you'll see all those waterways throughout Mother Earth. And that's kind of like if you look at yourself and you see those veins, right? So that's the same system for her. And we acknowledge the water because it's living and it has spirit. So we have a responsibility to take care of her.
This project will serve Parks Canada's mandate by improving the ecological integrity of our marsh habitat and providing visitors with opportunities to learn and explore the park.
Ultimately, our goal for this project is to see wildlife come back into the areas that we're managing and to see them thrive again. In areas where we've removed invasive Phragmites, we've already started seeing native plants and turtles and birds coming back into those areas. And even out where we're cutting through channels, we've started seeing animals using the mudflats for habitat.
Thanks so much for watching.
And if you're ever in Point Pelee National Park, keep an eye out for our team out there working and all the habitat that we've created.